everyone, I am Kat Ryalls, an artist in the southern Blue Ridge Mountains, and I'm here to just give you a little walkthrough of some of my favorite wooden palettes that I've been making and talk a little bit about how I choose colors for them. Here I've got a little map of all of my colors in my collection, and I kind of like to have them all categorized and compared, especially when I have different colors from different brands. But I have been thinking more and more over the colors because I've made these wooden palettes. I kind of want to create some that already have the paint colors in them for you, and so that's kind of where this video has all come together, is sort of a culmination of all of that. But I go into more depth on picking out the colors and choosing colors in my next video, because I found that I was just rambling on and on about my favorite palettes in this one. So we're gonna have a separate video soon to show you how I'm gonna choose the colors for a very fun little tiny pocket palette with just 9 colors, a nice little rendition for you. So I'm going to show you what I use. This one is one of my favorite little travel palettes. It's not that little, but it is nice and lightweight. It's compact. I have it magnetized, so it actually is magnetic to a board that I use and can clamp my watercolor paper or my sketchbook to. So everything is like really nice and stable in one spot when I'm using that. Here is the next version that I kind of want to make of this for myself. I've included, I think it's about 14 wells. They're little tiny ones, but it's going to be the perfect, very compact palette for me to put in my backpack or carry with me on a plane or whatever I'm doing, you know, in a car. If I'm a passenger, I can paint and ride. My favorite palettes always happen to be the ones that have like tiny like imperfections that I turn into something beautiful. So on the left side there, you'll see I've kind of carved out a little notch for your thumb to hold it, and then I've used some Woodworkers like super glue, some black super glue in there to kind of fill in a big crack, and so when you touch it, it feels really nice and smooth, and it's going to be a joy to use. But I've got to figure out which ones I want to add, and I need to add another coat of the hard wax and oil that I use to seal these up. So they do work really well with your watercolors, with getting them wet and beading up and lasting a nice long time. So yeah, here we come back to my main palette. Here I have one of my favorite little travel box palettes that I created that holds all the colors, pretty much all of the colors in my collection. I have one more whole well remaining that I think I'm gonna add. If I don't have it in there, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to double check, but I'll probably add Cascade Green. And then my standard desk palette here is in Walnut. I love this one. It's low profile. It's kind of the perfect everyday palette for me. Especially since I don't work too large. I like the larger wells when I'm using larger brushes for larger projects, but these little wells, this is like a 3/4 inch. This is my medium size well on my website. This is really my perfect palette. I've got a few more of these that I'll be making in the near future, and I'm gonna try to expand my collection and have a lot more available with each release. But I make these as I get inspired and feel like I want to work in the wood shop and all of that. So I really can't say too many wonderful things about these palettes because I love using them. I have a collection of all sorts of other metal tin palettes, ceramic palettes, little travel metal palettes, all of that. And now that I've been making these wooden palettes, I can't get enough of them. They're my favorite. And here I'm gonna show you one of the newest palettes. It is a collector's edition special little box palette that I did fill with paint. I'm adding it to my website right now. It has such a fun collection of colors. Most of my favorites, these are my everyday use colors, And then I added one color I don't use often, but I think it would be really fun, especially for a collector's palette, is the Aussie Red Gold. I have Aureolin Hue by Holbein, Nickel Azo Yellow. I've got the Aussie Red Gold. I've got Quinacridone Magenta, your Sap Green, your, did I do Undersea or Paraline? I can't read it from here, but all of my favorite blues, even Indigo and the Permanent Mauve. Just a really, really great collection of colors in this one. And so you'll be able to get this box palette all together with the paint included. And so at some point, you know, if you run out, you can get tubes and refill it. But I find that it really takes a lot of painting to get to the point where you're going to need to refill your palettes. But here we go. I'm just digging through some paint here and just showing you a little bit about some tubes or something. I don't remember what I was talking about here. I've had to redub all of this, so I think I'm just showing what the paint color pigment is on that tube. So there we are. Now I'm going to show you a little comparison of my palettes to one of a very popular brand of travel palettes, that Art Toolkit. This is their portfolio size. Or folio, which one? Not portfolio, folio. And so it has a ton of color in it, but I'm showing you here how you can kind of have that same sort of collection and not in a not much bigger format with my wooden palettes, and you can fit just as many colors. The only difference is the mixing space, but I think most people would tell you the mixing space in those palettes isn't necessarily ideal, but it is very convenient on the go. But typically I just have one of these little ceramic dishes that I have some in my shop that include the ceramic dish that comes in a little baggie. You'll see here that some of them are, I actually sized them specifically to fit with those palettes. So you see there, you can nest it in there, store it on your desk that way, or if you're going to travel, and you can put it in the little baggie. I typically, if it includes the heavy ceramic palette, which isn't that heavy, I'll include also like a special liner inside that adds just a little bit more cushioning inside of the drawstring bag. So I make all of the bags myself right here in my home, and y'all, I love making these. So here I'm going to show you a very special edition. That one is a cherry palette. It's got larger wells that are comparable to a full size. I put this little, I burn a mark on the back of which is one of my little symbols. It's kind of like signing it, but without like my name on it, which I think is nice. I was thinking about, I don't know, do people want to carry around something with my name on it? So instead I've gone with this little emblem to burn in them, which is a grounded person, which I feel like fits like a handmade wooden palette is very grounding and very natural to work with. So here's another one that's also in the shop. It's basically the same as that one. And what I'll do is I'll probably keep one in the shop without paint in it, and I'll add paint to the other one. But see how they all fit right in that little palette. If you are just in search of that ceramic palette, I have it linked in my Amazon links below, so you can find it. They have a larger one. I'm going to show you a little bit more about that in just a second. But I have worked on this very special, exciting edition. It hasn't come out yet. I'm showing you here first. Or actually, I showed my patrons on Patreon first. They usually get the heads up on what's in the works and when things are really in the raw stage. I like to do a weekly update there. But this is a maple. It's a curly maple with a beautiful chaboyance. I think that's the word for it. I don't know. I take it back. I'm not very confident on that. But it has this beautiful sheen. It almost shines. And it's got at least 3 to 4 coats of the hard wax and oil that I use on it. And you'll see here, if you push it, I've got very strong magnets on it. If you push it to the side is like the safest way to kind of open it. Just so you don't pinch your fingers because the magnets are so so strong. So here I'm showing you how I've inlaid a palette into this box collection, but I have them separated so they don't like click together like when you lay them down. I think a lot of other palettes I've seen kind of have them do that, but I like to be able to sort of arrange them on my desk however feels comfortable for me and whatever the space sort of feels like. So here I'm showing you how it's kind of similar to the other one, but I've made the wells a little bit deeper. I've created a little bit more space in between them just to kind of, if keeping your palette clean is important to you, having a little more space in between the wells is a really nice option. It's a little tricky to clean those little bridges when they're very tightly put together, but I prefer to have more colors with them tighter together. I don't know, it's a preference. So this one I think has like 19 wells or something in it. Really nicely sized wells. I use, I hand route them out, and so with the router bit that I use, they kind of leave a little ridge in the center. That is there on purpose. I think it also helps the paint grip to the wood and palette a little bit better. And see there, the palette is permanently installed in that. I'm just going to kind of do a little more filler around. I'm going to do like an epoxy drop pour around the edges so you don't have any gaps for water to go in and link and sit. So I have the magnet set up, so see there, the magnets will go on in one direction only. So I actually probably should make a little box key on it. But you see there, you just slip it on and it fits perfectly and tightly. I've already dropped it, so I'm like, it holds up. It's nice and durable. It's a fun little palette. I haven't put my burn mark symbol on it yet. But yeah, so that leads me to this one. This was my prototype. This one is not going to be for sale just because it turned out a tad ugly, which sometimes happens. Especially as I'm kind of doing something new and have designed something new. So, but this one is like a larger version of the one I just showed you, and it's going to have a box lid with a larger ceramic palette tray that's, you know, in scale with this. So that's what I'm working on now. I didn't get it out in time for the end of the year, but I'll be adding more, maybe a couple of those to the shop in the spring. So yeah, so it'll be a palette like that, but larger. So you see there? And yeah, they're just like a small and a large. This is for the person that really loves a large desk palette. This is not one that you're really going to carry with you, at least not long distances. You can put it, like, the nice thing about it being a box palette is that you can put it in your bag. It's not going to get messed up or dinged up. The other nice thing I like about it, having it, you know, you can close it with a lid. It keeps it from getting dusty on your desk. So it'll look beautiful sitting there, and when you're ready to paint, you can slide the lid off and have this like enormous, lovely desk palette. And here I'm showing you, I think that's a 3/4 inch brush. Works really well within these palettes. It works a little easier if you kind of go from the side. But yeah, you can fit a nice big brush in there. I can probably, maybe on the next one, do larger palettes similar to this one, or wells. They're a little bit longer, and I can put them a little bit closer together. So just showing you kind of how easy it is to access the paint with a larger brush. And I did a little dugout for a paint rest on the left side. It's pretty deep on that side. I've never done one that deep before, but it actually really holds your brush well. The other side holds your brush as well. But yeah, it's a prototype. This one I'll be using. You might see it in upcoming videos. But yeah, I'm excited about that. And let's see, what else are we doing? I'm just talking. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching my videos. I am so passionate about painting and about sharing my love for materials and things that we use on a daily basis, and making them beautiful, making them something that we enjoy reaching for, and creating a special experience while we paint. Painting has always been a thing of like relaxing and exploring and expressing, and I hope that's what it is for you. And Thank you so much to my patrons. Thank you so much to those of you who have signed up for my online watercolor course where we go through a sketchbook. I love every bit of this, and I am so thankful for you. And feel free to check out the links below, see some of the materials I like to use. I've got them all shared below, and I will talk to you soon in the next video. Bye!